Spoštovani gostje, dobrodošli na našem panelu. Dear guests, kindly welcome to our panel. This year, Blitz Strategic Forum has a very strong message. We have to raise the ambition to stop the war, but we also have to raise the ambition to stop all negative megatrends that we are producing. Climate crisis, biodiversity loss, social inequality and stability, and greenwashing. We are sure now that the world will change drastically in the next 10 years. Digitalization has changed the world in 10 years. And the climate change will change the world even more. We can say that we are facing the industrial revolution of our generation, going to net zero. The way of doing business and business ecosystem will transform and are already transforming. We know that some of the biggest companies in the history failed to innovate, like Nokia and Kodak. But is the business ready for this climate revolution? Business as usual will not be an option anymore. And we also have to change our habits. It will never be as beautiful as it was, our life. So the companies have to innovate, start measuring their performance, but not only financial, but also the influence on the environment and the society. In the last 2 years, it was very obvious that the companies do not rely only on the financial and production capital. COVID exposed that we rely on the human and social capital. And severe climate changes, especially in Europe this year with droughts, they exposed dependence on natural capital. Dry rivers in Europe stopped the supply chains. Nuclear power plants are working on 30% because they cannot cool down. And the industry cannot cool down their process because the rivers, the water in rivers is too hot. And we all need to see these system capital connections to prevent future risk, raise opportunities, and innovate for our future. I just have to mention some more pressures that the business is facing. This is definitely in EU, the massive regulatory tsunami. It's 15 strategies, 52 directives, so it's a huge pressure on companies that will have to change. And also demands for ESG disclosure from multiple stakeholders, like banks, insurers, investors, employees. We don't want to work in the companies that are not sustainable. The public, the young generation, the tenders and customers. We heard a great panel this morning on the MCHEM regarding many theories about ESG. And today we will have opportunity to listen how it goes deep down into the companies. And just to end up, so the sustainable transition is not easy. Nobody can achieve it alone, and nobody can achieve it in one step. It's a journey. It's a journey to net zero, to net positive, whatever we say, the models. And the companies need to understand why to change, what to change, and how to change. So they need to decouple economic growth from consumption of natural resources. They must do more with less. And this is a huge task and pressure on business. They need to change business models, products, services, and projects. But we can change something only if we start measuring it and if we set ambitious goals and be persistent in our actions. I'm really glad that today in CER, our network of sustainable business, we launched the Green Certificate, Green Star, so the certificate for sustainable business and climate action, and the first companies went on that journey to start systematically measuring their ESG performance, goals, and actions. And just to express this, how is this actually easy? And how you fall in love with sustainability, because we can say somebody said one time that sustainability is not sexy, but I think it is really very sexy. And once you start doing sustainable things, you cannot get out of that. and you persuade others, they join you on the journey, and this is why we are here, to persuade, to share the knowledge, persuade others, and to win this game, because we cannot be the generation to go into the history to fail. And I'm really glad to have great panelists with me today. Almost all are our members, and they are from different sectors, they are different sizes. They are all on the journey to net positive, and all of them are getting out of comfort zone. Sustainability is not something nice to have in their annual publications. Sustainability and climate actions are their key business strategic priorities. So, kindly welcome. I will present now my guests through the ages of the companies, so from the oldest to the youngest. And the oldest company was established in 1847, it was Siemens. And Siemens is a global technology group active in nearly all countries of the world, focusing on areas of automation, digitalization, industries, buildings, energy, smart mobility, and healthcare. Your commitment is to become carbon neutral by 2030. So my dear guest is Medeja Lončar, CEO of Siemens Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia. One applause, please. Very much younger, so much younger, 30 years ago, in 1991, it was founded Interzero. At that time, Interzero, I think. Interzero a few months ago. And Interzero is pioneer in sustainability, recycling, waste management, circular solutions. This is a German company operating in 7 countries. Your motto is a future without waste. You build bridges, close circles, create added value for everyone. So, Ms. Darja Figelj, CEO of Interzero Slovenia. And now I come to the gentleman's part. So, Porsche Slovenia was founded in 1993, but you belong to Volkswagen Group, which was founded in 1937. Volkswagen is a multinational automotive manufacturer. You have 10 car brands and a wide range of further brands and business units, including financial services. Volkswagen Group is paving the way for the biggest change process in its history, the realignment of the best car makers to become a globally leading provider of sustainability mobility. Unfortunately, Mr. Danilo Ferjančič, CEO of Porsche Slovenia, could not join us due to health, so we have human value, and today we have another value, Slavko Ažman, who is a CER board member, and Slavko, great to have you with us. And last but not least, the youngest. In 2010, Heliot Europe was founded and operates in 4 countries. It's the biggest IoT network operator in Europe and one of the first CO2 neutral operator in the world. It has customized services to gain more transparency about logistic chains, operational process, can track and manage objects, save money, time, CO2, and nerves. You have written. So Tomaš Pavliček, COO and co-founder of Heliot Europe. Our great listener will be also another co-panelist, so Matej Zakonjšek, Director of Transport Community at Permanent Secretariat in Belgrade. So Matej, welcome to be with us and to have the final words about our panel. One applause for Matej too, please. And now we have a journey to go to find how sustainable you are, how you are doing this. And my first round of questions would go, how the context of your sector, the sustainability context of the sector, the risks that you are facing, how are you adapting, and what's your vision for 2030, 2050? Medeja, ladies, gentlemen, this round.
So thank you for inviting me. You heard what our business, we are really present from
industry, to infrastructure, to transportation. And this means we work in the environment industries. Our customers produce around 3 quarters of the total emissions that are coming from the sectors where we are present. And somehow we perceive ourselves as the enabler of our customers. We want to somehow bridge this physical and virtual worlds, currently, because we believe that technology can really support us. We are a technological company, engineering company. Our founder declared already more than 170 years ago, that he won't focus only on the short-term results, and he won't sell the factory or his enterprise for a short-term profit. He would like to serve the society. So this vision, somehow, these values are staying within the company. And currently, there are many mega trends that are influencing our business. And most important, we would say, it's climate change and its digitalization, then together with also, of course, demographic change, urbanization, and many other trends that are influencing our customers. So as I said, we are somehow trying with all the opportunities that we have with the new technologies, somehow bridge this and connect the digital and the real worlds and support our customers in their digital transformation and also solving their sustainability challenges that they have. But of course, first we do it within our company, and our vision somehow is really making the life of billions of people in the world better, changing their life for the better. Together with our customers and, of course, together with our ecosystem of partners that is very wide, and we strongly believe it's very important to tackle with these challenges with the ecosystem and in collaboration mode.
Great. Huge task.
Yeah.
Darja.
Thank you also for the opportunity to talk in this panel. Interzero operates in 7 countries, as you said, and therefore I can say that we understand the importance of rules. So helping over 20,000 customers, not only in 7 countries, also in different sectors, are showing that rules and legal framework are very different from country to country. And this actually highly affects the perception and the possibility how the waste can become a secondary resource, a secondary raw material. Interzero is working with, I would say, more sustainable companies in different sectors. And that's why I can also confidently say that Slovenia lags behind in this regard. Companies, they have intention to seem to be sustainable, but they are truly not. So I also compliment the title of your panel, Sustainability in Theory to Sustainability in Practice is a Long Path. And a lot of companies in Slovenia are not willing to take this path yet. They're willing to write sustainable strategies. They are willing to plant trees. They're willing to use recycled paper in the office, but these are only basic steps, still basic steps. Interzero offers sustainable solutions in waste management. We invested in Slovenia. We built and opened research and development center in Maribor. So our laboratory is actually the first and the only one still in Europe specialized for household waste packaging, household plastic packaging waste. This is actually perceived as the most difficult waste stream to do something out with that stream. And our scientists in Maribor are researching that waste, and they are actually producing new material, new plastic material, which is used again in production for different kind of products.
And your vision?
Our vision is world without waste. Our, let's say, philosophy and what we strongly believe that waste is a resource and it's a pity to incinerate and landfill.
Great. We have a lot of waste already here and sources. Thank you, Darja. Slavko, from the mobility point of view.
Oh, yes, you probably know our company. We are the importer of Volkswagen Group cars. We are part of this Volkswagen Group, and we are in the middle of a major transition, I would say, because you all know that we are in the last 100 or a little bit more years, we have perfected the internal combustion engine. It's quite effective, but as we all know, it's not enough. It's not sexy anymore. It's not acceptable anymore, at least in the long run. And we are now in the position that we have to innovate to find new ways, new products, but also new business models, because the world is really rapidly changing, and we are practically in the lucky position that we are in the middle of this mobility sector. That's one of the major producers of CO2 emissions. There are also other problems with the emissions concerning us and other stuff. So we are aware of our responsibility, and we are doing everything in our position to mitigate it and to find new solutions. And we are really confident that it is possible, and we are, I would say, on the right way to achieve our goals. Our goals are, for example, by 2025, we would like to reduce the impact of production of our cars by 45% compared to 2010. But that's only in the short term. By 2030, we would like to have all our production really net zero, and but we are also thinking about the usage of our products, because that's the main problem right now, and we would like also to achieve that by 2030. So we would like to reach at least 70% of battery electric vehicles in Europe by that time, and at least 50% in China and USA, which are growing markets, and that's a little bit more challenging to make progress. But yeah, that's one part. But we are also in the middle of massive digitalization. There are also other mega trends that concern us. We are working on connecting driving, which means that in future all our cars will communicate with each other. They will know if there's somebody in front of you is braking. So the cars, all the cars in the line will brake and also speed up. Then at the same time, it will ensure better security, it will make traveling faster and safer and so on. So yeah, that's
great that you mentioned digitalization, because in all of your sectors, it's crucial that with data, green and digital are connected, these parts. That's why we come to the IoT sector. How are you helping make our life easier with data?
Okay, once more, thank you for the invitation. I thought I will not forget. I've forgotten. So thanks for the invitation. Heliot is a relatively new company. You mentioned 2010, but 2010 are the roots of the technology which we are representing on the markets where we are present. It's pure European telecommunication technology called Sigfox. And Heliot itself was created in late 2017 in Switzerland, and then we expanded to Austria, Slovenia, and Germany. So we call it DACH region. DACH is the classical name, but we have our DACH region. And practically our activities are two. We are telco operator, so IoT special telco operator. But as the adoption of IoT is slower than expected, and the Industry 4.0 and all these things, we have to provide to the clients also advisory services. So coming to the clients, yes, you have an issue, and we are here to help you with the project, how to digitalize, how to solve it. And I'm now using IoT to bring you more to what we are doing, but when I'm talking to the clients, I don't use IoT. We are coming to digitalize to help to bring the solution, because IoT, sometimes it's a buzzword without content. And it's not only with IoT, and maybe we can talk also about ESG and sustainability, because when it will be not addressed properly, also those could be at the end buzzwords. But we are delivering to the clients solutions to help them to be more efficient, to digitalize. And when you ask about the situation on the market, so what are we facing? For us, and I think it's not only for us, it's also for Siemens for sure, for Volkswagen for sure also, semiconductor shortage. This was something what nearly stopped the adoption, because we as Europe are dependent on supplies from other territories, and we were not considered as priority regions, especially by some of the Chinese producers. So I think this is something what Europe has to change, not to be dependent so much on that. And when we talk about the telecommunication services, and we don't have such an issue, but when you are asking about the whole area, I think with the rising prices of energy, even the telco providers could have issues with the pricing and sustainability, because we have signals that even in China, where the energy is not so high, the operators, they are switching 5G networks over the night because there is limited traffic, and it costs a lot of money to maintain the networks running. So this is not on the agenda now, but when you ask about midterm, future, this could hurt us in Europe, and I think it will be good to have some backup solution to this really broadband protocols, which we can provide, because our protocol is really energy efficient with low emissions. So we are complementary to many of the 5Gs, and that's why we call us 0G, because we are just small. Mm-hmm. We can transmit 12 bytes, but to know whether the temperature is high or low, it's enough.
It's great that you mentioned this resource scarcity. President Ursula von der Leyen yesterday mentioned this energy dependency on one country that we are facing. And she mentioned that this green transition is bringing new technologies. It will scale up for 40% until 2030. And there are 30 rare materials for solar panel, wind, and digitalization. And 10 of them are in China. If China decides to close the market, it has consequences on many businesses that are here and around us. So this is...
yeah, and I think it's a lack of economic diplomacy of Europe in the last maybe 20 years, where we lost good contacts in Africa and some emerging countries, and it was taken by China Russia or other countries, and now they are using it as a way how to eliminate Europe from the markets.
You want to say?
So perhaps when we are discussing
Yep.
the sustainability, because now we are stepping into and the trends, I would say also current geopolitical situation has the tendency to somehow stop these sustainability initiatives, because of course everybody is asking what is now the priority, how we're gonna survive, yeah, and this we really have to think carefully whether we stay on our path towards sustainability also within the companies, but we can discuss it then later how we do it.
Maybe just one question for you, Darja. We are speaking about materials that come from China, but on the wastelands, we have so much, all of these materials. How to take them out?
There are already many years in those wastelands. If we talk about landfills, some people are talking that might be new minefields in the future. I don't know. I mean, first we have a lot of not under, but a lot of is also up, and it's not properly, let's say, treated.
So we should see probably the wastelands as a bank of materials.
Definitely.
Another point of view. Thank you. And now, really basically, how do you measure your sustainability in your companies, your ESG? What kind of frameworks are you using? Are you also awarding your employees for achieving KPIs on sustainability? In this direction would go this round of questions. Yeah, please.
It's a very, very complex world, and Siemens started with this when these two companies were not even established. 50 years ago, Siemens established the first environmental department. 25 years ago, we made the first environmental report. We were the first big industrial company in the world to declare in 2015 that we would be CO2 neutral till 2030. And since then, now we achieved, we decreased the CO2 emissions for more than 50% already in 2020, so we are really good on track, yeah. Of course, this means that sustainability has to be within the core, strategic core, and it has to be the top level, on the top level floor. It's always the C-level topic first, and it's like with all changes and strategic things, first the management has to understand and put it down through the organization. And if you have these huge organizations, also the systems are relatively complex, but it's all about really clear goals. I think it's very, very important to define to yourself clear goals. And Siemens, as I said, we declared we would be CO2 neutral till 2030 in our operations.
In your operations.
In our own operations. This is what's important, because there is a whole level of supply chain and our suppliers that would have to follow. And here we also have the goals for that. We have very, very, what we realized, it's very important to put it down through the organization. So, for instance, even in Slovenia, if we take now Slovenia, we have a network of sustainability managers. So we have sustainability managers in all organizations, Siemens organizations, who have to take care about these topics, yeah. Of course, we defined also the local goals. So in 2030, also in Slovenia, we will live in CO2 neutral building. Yeah, so it's quite a challenging thing still, because there are not many in Ljubljana, for instance. Currently none. Yeah. But we believe till then we would have some already. Then we would all use electricity only from renewable resources, and we would all drive electric cars. So this is already the commitment that has been put from top down till the last organizational unit within the organization. Of course, we are collaborating with many organizations climate group, and we really think that there should be different organizations who step together, define the goals together with the governments that we would perhaps discuss a little bit later. But it's extremely important to do it, and we also believe it's not only, of course, we have then circular economy, our own products should change, and so on, and we have very clear goals here. You were asking about incentives, awards for, of course, we want to motivate, and one of the first incentive systems is related to the top management, senior management. Also, I have my long-term incentive in terms of stock awards. We are all getting these long-term incentives, and part of the KPIs related to this is really sustainability related, clearly. So we have clear goals, and if we achieve them, then you achieve also your portion of long-term incentives. So these were the first steps how to do it, and then of course we have also this direct awards or bonuses for the employees who will get the electric car. Of course, they can have a better car, higher leasing rates, and so on. So these are the very concrete, practical, motivational awards or measures to use. Yeah.
Thank you for telling us. Darja, how is your company measuring and awarding?
So our company is a service company. And as a service company, we work we are actually providing services for sustainability. You talked before, sustainability is not sexy. We are dealing with waste, which is actually not really sexy, but very important and has very high impact. So talking about our company, we are taking into consideration everything we do, not only us as a service company, but also our customers. Let's say we are taking an important part in the circular economy with the services we are providing. So preventing waste, increasing recyclability of all the products that are put on the market. Let's say producing and providing the resource, the secondary resource material. These are the keys, but you talk about metrics. So we have clear goals for our customers and us. And we also develop metrics together with Fraunhofer Institute. And it's measuring with all the activities what we do, the CO2 impact and the primarily resource savings. So let's say for us and our customers, this is yearly now around 30 million tons per year, primarily resources saved, and 4 million tons of CO2 saved. But this is not where we stop, actually. We go further, because also with the LCA analysis, for example, it's also taken in consideration that all the activities which are also affecting the human well-being and ecosystem resilience. So it's not only the circular economy goes further into the green economy sector. But we are not talking only about measurements, there are also the clear activities. We have really reports and, let's say, proposals for our customers, what measures they have to take, what actions they have to take, that their numbers are higher, and then also our numbers are higher, let's put it that way.
You're advising them
directly? Yes,
I
mean, but on the concrete way. So how to change the packaging that it's more recyclable, or what to change that there is less waste, or which material include into their products, because they are recyclable, and recyclable materials also can be in the chemical and psychological trait actually better than if they are made from the virgin material. So this is everything measured. Then it's also the packaging recyclability, which is also not something which is, let's say, claimed from the stomach feeling, but also measured with the metric developed by BIFA Institute. And here again, it's not only the measurement which is done, but then also plan of activity that has to be taken, that the results are better.
So many new things that we don't think yet about.
Yes.
How to
yes.
optimize our.
There are more and more companies which are deciding to take this path together with us.
How many companies in Slovenia?
In Slovenia, that measure that all the metrics which I mentioned are around 3,000 actually. Yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
Just like to add something, because I think it's important to understand. I think we are now talking about decarbonization, we are talking resource efficiency and so on. But I would just like to add that Siemens, for instance, understands sustainability much, much wider, yeah? And that we established, and I think this is the right way how to think about the future. And beside this decarbonization and clear goals that we have and resource efficiency that leads to circular economy and so on, we added also the equity, the ethics, yeah. So there are people empowerment. So without new skills, competencies, we will never be there, yeah. So these are these elements that I think we also have to think about, yeah, when talking about sustainability. It's not only about technology, it's also about changing and constant learning and so on. So these are very, very important to understand also the future possibility that we have, yeah, to innovate and to be open for new ways of working, yeah.
Thank you for addressing.
I add maybe just to add, looking also at ESG reporting standards. Actually, what is the goal maybe behind it is also that all the activities of companies are becoming public and transparent. And that means that every company has to really change, really think about what they are doing, what they're communicating, for what projects they are spending budgets, if those projects are really sustainable or not. And they really have to change the behavior and the decisions they are taking, actually. So the metrics are really, really important because somehow you have to measure, are you sustainable or not, how you affect people and environment.
You have very interesting sustainability report with GRI topics. And Slavka, your company, I mean, okay, Slovenia, Porsche Slovenia, it's a little bit different, but with you we speak a little bit wider about the group. You also have insight into your sustainability report, how you measure, what KPIs you have to have in Slovenia. And
yes, we are using quite sophisticated system of KPIs, which is obviously necessary. We all know something that you don't measure, you cannot control. So if we would like to achieve our goals that are public, that are stated, we are standing behind them, and also in order to directly see which measures are really effective and which are maybe not so. It's really important to measure. But on the other hand, I think it can also be done in a more, I know, maybe more simple way. Because if I think about it, the single most important metric in this regard is, at least in our business, is the number and the share of electric cars. And I think it's also one of the most important metrics also for Slovenia as whole. But this might surprise you, but let me explain. The transportation is responsible for 30% or 33% of all emissions in Slovenia, and it's the only sector that's not where emissions are not under control. In all other sectors, the emissions are going down, and with maybe exception of agriculture where they are stagnating, but in transportation, basically they are out of control. Just to put it mildly. In 2005, the share of transportation was something about 20%, 21%. Now it's 33%, and the long-term projection is not very favorable. And that's why, by the way, we had our internal, Slovenia had our internal goals regarding CO2 emissions in the sector of transportation. The ambition of Slovenia was to reduce the CO2 emissions by increasing them by 27%. And
Great, yeah.
now
huge
it's
numbers, Slavko, but this is maybe already the next point, how your other stakeholders can work with you. These are the goals. Yes, we have to reduce, but just if you stick a little bit to the company, how the one thing is company is producing services and products, but how the company itself changes. Because in your report, it's very interesting written. We all know about the Volkswagen event that happened regarding the emissions communication. And in the first on the first page of your sustainability report, this is mentioned, and that's why I think it's really interesting what you mentioned, Darja. It's if we measure, we can communicate transparently then what we are doing. And so each of your companies, it's now more when you have the numbers, you can communicate with your stakeholders, with the state, with the NGOs, because they can put really a pressure on you if they found that you're greenwashing.
Definitely, and like you said, it's on the front page of our report, but that's probably no use of denying it. You know what happened, and we are really not in the position to dodge these questions anymore, to cut corners, and there's a real commitment by our group to do it properly, and. We are. I completely agree with Mrs. Lončar. It has to come. This new direction has to come from top down. It's no other way. Yesterday, in the philosopher session, we heard about that. That there are rules and there are unspoken rules, and there are some rules that are where you are expected to. Break them, but just you're not allowed to talk about it, and that's something that has to be really clearly communicated. But it's obviously not enough. You have to involve all employees at all levels.
Yes, everybody has to understand the goals, the KPIs. You want to add something?
Yeah, it's simple. You cannot improve what you don't measure.
Yeah. That's why this question was really how your companies are measuring and communicating, and you're the youngest with with the data in your DNA. How do you measure?
And I see here companies with hundreds and thousands of employees. So we are still a small company up to 50 employees. So we don't have resources to have many people taking care about the reporting and sustainability officers and ESG officers. Nevertheless, our majority investor, Cube Investment Managers, is a company which is known for ESG. They are winner of many ESG awards during last 5-6 years in the investment companies. So we are audited by PwC for ESG. Nevertheless, we have done something and I wanted to write there that we are the first telco operator in the world, but we have not done the full assessment of that. So I'm one of the first in the world. So what we are saying, we are carbon neutral. With Climate Partner, what is a German company, we calculated our carbon footprint, mentioning carbon footprint of our networks in all the countries.
Your operations, not in the supply chain?
No, no, no.
Okay.
And we practically get the carbon neutral sign as of this year. So this was big step forward for us. We are now talking actively with our ecosystem partners, so the suppliers of devices. It's harder because it's more complicated. And we are talking to our partners, so stakeholders. Our biggest client is Deutsche Post, DHL, and we are working with them now on their ESG requirements for their supply chain, because we are part of that. So we plan to audit, ESG audit by their company to get in line with the requirements of Deutsche Post, DHL.
Okay.
And I have to say here one thing, maybe it will be good to look at sustainability of sustainability audits, because sometimes you are filling in the forms for PwC, for that company, and they don't accept themselves. So for a small company as we are, it's a huge agenda, and maybe like self-regulation of the companies providing the certification for sustainability, it could be good to somehow synchronize and cross-recognize the reports, because we have also other big industrial clients, especially in DACH region, and when we should follow the certification with another 3-4 companies, I have to say this could kill us, because we will not have resources to do the business and to serve the clients. So we have to be careful with that when you are asking about my view.
Thank you. You want to add something?
Perhaps only that you don't need to have sustainability officer as a specialized person. It should be somebody who is responsible to think about and to aggregate and to coordinate. Also, we in Slovenia don't have we cannot afford a special sustainability officer. But we should still think about who is responsible beside the top management or management, however, somebody who is the ambassador. It helps sometimes to have somebody who really thinks about all these aspects.
Yeah, so here we as C-level, as a founders, are ambassadors. So mission, vision given to the employees. You asked also about the KPIs on ESG. Yes, the people who are project-based supporting ESG projects, they have KPIs on ESG. Otherwise, the regular employees, they don't have currently any KPIs related to ESG and sustainability, because I think mission, vision, and the way how we are driving the company forward is example for them, and you don't need to have such a complicated, such a structure for small or mid-sized company.
Yeah, that's why I think also Europe is now forcing this directive for non-financial reporting, which is quite huge package now, and also the standards for non-financial reporting. They would like to have one language. And of course, you don't need to have all the data, because energy is kilowatt per hour, and you just have to have the right data. But Medeja, you already came to this part. So that I have on my next question. Nobody can achieve sustainability alone, or inside a company or outside a company. So you need to work internally and externally. So there are new competencies, skills that we need to understand how, so general, also ethics, human aspects, but also some specific sectoral competencies that have to raise. So I think all of you already needed in this process to change some competencies. Which are now those competencies that you would stress out the most important?
I would say it depends from sector to sector. Yeah, there are some sector specific, but I would say, since we believe that digitalization can support us in the journey also to reach sustainability goals, of course, these digital skills and competencies, and whatever we develop, it can be digital twin in the production area. Of course, it has to serve the goal to make the production more also energy efficient. So all these should be integrated already within the products. The products would need this, like we have this robust eco design imperative when designing the products. Yeah, so all these steps should be carefully also have the goal to follow the sustainability targets. Yeah, yeah, each step, and for sure these huge competencies that are needed should be developed, and I believe not only because of sustainability, yeah, but because of all other challenges that we have learning. And here Siemens really has a great learning platform, digital learning platform with more than 100,000 different trainings that you can choose according to your needs. Yeah, it depends what do you need, and of course we also have the sustainability special topics and trainings related to sustainability themselves. But I believe this is something where we would, in all sectors, need to invest a lot.
Right.
I will add to this, the goal maybe, not the competence, but the competence is that. The goal is, if I look from our perspective, data sovereignty, definitely. So aim should be a data sovereignty for every company. If I only focus on the waste, we think there should be open and transparent data about waste in every phase and every section where it's the waste. Yeah.
Data.
Yeah.
So perhaps just to add, the majority of the emissions in the production are coming from the supply chain. 90%, yeah, in an average company. So it's extremely important to have these transparent carbon footprint proofs, and we also developed at Siemens a special solution, digital solution it's called SeaGreen, to really follow this through the whole supply chain, yeah, and then to exchange it within the partner ecosystem. And this is the transparency and data that we are talking about. This should be the ultimate goal.
Slavko.
Yes, I have already mentioned that we are entering into new areas as a group as a whole, but also our company. We are in the process of transformation from the producer and dealer of new cars into a sustainable solution provider, actually, and we are moving also into the sector of energy. That's also very important because we are very well aware of our responsibility that we also provide our customers with the opportunity to use clean energy for our cars, and that's why Volkswagen is really investing heavily into new solar power plants. So do we in Slovenia. We are investing in also heavily in the power into the grid, actually, and also on all the other solutions that are needed by our customers, including solar power, also storage, energy storage, and power management solutions. So that's why we need completely new set of skills, actually, and also new. We are developing new know-how. We are practically new in this area. We are trying for the last maybe 5-6 years that we are more active in this field, and we are practically very new, but that's why there are many challenges. But I think we are on the good way to.
Great. Great.
to choose this.
But still a lot to learn.
Definitely. And it's coming even more because I already mentioned the connectivity. There's also the automatic driving possibilities that are coming, and this will definitely change the landscape.
Yes. But you are IoT in your DNA. But what do you have to learn for this green transition? What competencies are?
We are trying to learn how to make the transition happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our DNA is to help to make the transition happen. But for sure we are learning. So with every client you need to understand what are their needs and come with a tailor-made solution. So we are doing, when talking about waste, we are doing a lot of things for waste management companies to see really where the electronics, for example, which has to be recycled ends. Because what I have seen in Europe, it's declared, it's recycled, and then they put just simple tracker for 20 euros into the monitors, and they found out that they were not recycled. So this is something what we are doing, providing, and it's just client by client, vertical by vertical. But really, we are strongly supporting the returnable packaging, embedding the trackers directly into the pallets or cages, so you can see really where the cage is, where the pallet is, and also for the recycling purposes, where it ends and how it's used. Because I think this will be, in the future, something what will be monitored, or it is already with respect to some of the materials monitored, and this is what we are providing to the clients. So.
Great. Yeah.
So perhaps it's amazing how digitalization and simulation can, because we are working in this manufacturing area, in industry area, how much material can save basically with simulating the whole the processes of the factory virtually first before you put it into action. You don't make mistakes, you make mistakes virtually. So these are really huge opportunities for all of us. Yeah? And we don't need prototypes anymore. Even in the car industry, in the past, we had to make many prototypes before the final car was ready for use. Now you make the prototypes virtually. So it's really, it's great already how many steps we have made. Yeah. And one element we didn't touch as well, I would like to point out, is we have to say what we are not doing anymore. Yeah. So which are the areas where we want to step out? And this is a difficult part within the business. Sometimes you have to say, for instance, at Siemens, we have this ESG radar, it's called. We assess every project, yeah, where we offer. That might be very big projects. And sometimes we get a no-go because it's analyzed from the ESG perspective, and it's not a sustainable project, like, for instance, investment in the coal mine. We get a no-go, and it might be very painful sometimes, especially in some countries who are not so advanced already, still depend on the coal or whatever. But this is also a topic that we should address, and we should think about where to step out.
That's a very important topic. Before we go to the last round, I would kindly invite you to raise the hands, those from the private sector. Okay, and from the public sector? Very few. Okay, but this will mostly address you. So the question, we went through the questions that nobody can do it alone. We need employees, we need stakeholders, but we need also the state to help foster this green transition. What would be your key messages to Slovenian government to foster green transition, to help companies transform and to help produce more sustainable products and services? Slavko, let's start on your side.
Thank you. Yeah, I mentioned it before. We feel very strongly that something has to be done in regarding the transportation in Slovenia, and there have been some measures that we think were very positive. For example, the tax incentives for electric cars. That's something that's is going to be very effective. We think there are some also some subsidies. We are also doing everything in our possibility to improve it, but it's obviously not enough. It's more than obvious that it's not enough, and it has to be some really drastic measures have to be adopted. And we would really like some. We would like to see some long-term plan and a clear message from the government that that's something that's the way forward. But because right now 97% of our customers still want a classical car.
Thank you.
And that has to change too. And we know that we have to make it as easy as possible for them to choose the car that we think that's better for everybody. And that's here we see also the role of government. They should make it as easy as possible to get these special grants and eco fund. We think that the digitalization of eco fund is something that in 2022 should not be in discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, Slavko. Darja.
So you said this is for the public sector.
This is for the public sector.
Okay. I will start. We stopped before knowledge and data. So definitely when we talk about waste management, here is the data. We need data. So one point. Another, metrics, standards, because there are none. And third, very important, I would say, European Union set really clear goals for 2025. And Slovenia has a lot to catch up here, that we will be able to achieve those goals. So we are not ready, actually. As a state, we are not ready. Legislation is not ready. If we talk about companies, they are ready. Export companies, they are totally ready, because even now they have to meet those targets in the country where they are exporting. So Interzero, I'm talking about the waste management, so it would be our wish that there will be a clear determination of Slovene government for just and green transition.
Thank you. And two of you?
So for Siemens, it's somehow three pillars are important, and we will do our job in this technology. I think as a society, we have to think that about the fact that this, we call it technology with purpose. Yeah? We have to develop technologies with the purpose to really serve society, not just to accelerate consumption or use it in the negative way. But this is the responsibility also of the companies. On the other hand, there should be also standards in the new technologies, in digitalization, artificial intelligence, and this is then the governmental also responsibility to think about negative aspects of using the technology. This is one strong pillar. How to use it really for the good, for saving our sustainability challenges and so on. Then there is second pillar, it's really about skills, it's about learning, it's about, and here governments also can have an important role also in educational system, and also not only educational, it's a lifelong learning, and the government should support that. The people to learn during the whole life, and it costs money, and of course companies are investing in that, but we would also need to change educational models in the future. And then the third level is really this collaboration, because we cannot do it alone. Companies cannot do it alone. There should be all the stakeholders should be connected here. And before all, of course, their policies are needed, standards are needed. Luckily, we are part of the EU that is taking care about that aspect. But we should be faster, yeah? We are not fast enough, really, in adopting and going forward. We see the climate change now also results are frustrating, and we should really do it faster, and this is the main message.
Thank you. And Tomaš, you're...
It's hard for me to assess Slovenia as I'm not living here, but maybe I will start with one layer, upper layer. I think EU and the structures should be more efficient. Sometimes we write on a paper something what can be written in 2 pages on 30 pages because somebody's working on that, and based upon pages, I don't know, he gets the KPIs and he gets paid. So that's sometimes, and then the transcription into the local legislation. In German, they say Papstlicher als Papst, so that the transcription creates from 20 pages, 30 pages, and then the people are lost. So I think this is what we are sometimes facing. Nevertheless, what I see in the reports, there are many tenders, public tenders, where we are participating. So the digitalization goes on also in the municipalities, and it's good. Nevertheless, sometimes there is not enough knowledge on the digitalization, especially in the municipalities. So when they prepare the tenders for some service, they are eliminating competition. And I'm not saying it's intention, but maybe some guidelines how to prepare the digitalization tenders for municipalities could help, or training of those people responsible for digitalization.
Yeah,
that's
also an important message. But dear ladies, we are running a little bit out of time, so can we, I mean, I'm in the dilemma now whether to put the word to you, to be a listener, and to the questions from the audience. Maybe just one quick answer. You wanted replica, and two of you, and then we give the word to Matej.
I just wanted to say it's hard for politicians to decide about these complex topics that are related to new technologies that is really also very complex. It's not easy. That's why this collaboration is even more important, to understand, to exchange with each other, and then to get these competencies also on all the levels within the government, that they would be able to decide also with, that's why learning and education is important. Yeah.
Thank you, Medeja. And you?
Thought, connected to what Medeja also said, it's there are gaps not only in the digitalization topic, in the basic waste management topic also, or recycling topic. So I would also point out collaboration, but include diversity. Do inclusively. Not in a small groups, convinced groups. This I would add.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Matej, now it's your turn.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this very thought-provoking panel. I think it's really good to hear on the individual level, on the company's level, that you're doing such important steps within your companies to achieve the goals of sustainability. However, allow me to be a bit controversial here with the question to you. Do you think it's enough, and do you think it's fast enough? What I'm referring to here is that it seems that, of course, the steps that you're making, that we are all making with our environments are important, but they're a little bit incremental. A better engine, propulsion system, more recycling. And what we are not tackling, or in my view not tackling seriously enough, is systematic challenge, systematic change. And the systematic change that actually part of that caused where we are, and that's consumption. You know, what we are trying to do here is basically trying to cook with the same ingredients, with a bit of the quality of the products better, but we are kind of hoping that by 2050 we will come to a completely different world. And if we see that even with the best cars, even with the best consumption that the best products that we have, if all the world would have the same products, it would be completely unsustainable because we just don't have enough resources. You know, just flying I came from Istanbul here, I spent, even if the plane would be on the best biofuels possible, I would still consume about 3 or 4 months of the CO2 emission of the average citizen in Bangladesh. But why I can do it, but the citizen of Bangladesh does not have this choice. So the point is, don't we need to look at the consumption also? And are you willing to say to your customer, you don't need our product? Are you willing to say that actually, you know what, you can be happy with what you are? And if you see our marketing departments, they're all there with the same thought, to keep you a little bit, to keep all of us a little bit unsatisfied with our life as it is.
Okay, let's hear the answers. Slavko, less cars.
Yeah, we are, like I said, we are really trying to do it properly this time. So our goal is really we are aware of the fact that there are too many cars. And we would like to reduce the number of cars because we are also aware of the fact that many especially younger people are thinking about the ownership. Do I need to own a car? It's not a status symbol as it was for the older generation anymore. So there are some. Definitely some changes, major changes, and we would like to adopt to it. And
thank you, Slavko. Yeah. Sorry, so slowly go to the next answer.
You can do it because we have to be first movers. This is fantastic, beautiful Porsche cars. All wrapped in shameful single-use plastic wheels around. Say, Slovenia, in Slovenia, don't send us these cars.
I'm not sure I understood you about the plastics.
We can do as a CEO, CEOs we can do choices. We can become famous, like the first CEO in the world of Porsche, and say, to my country, don't send me polluting cars. To my country, don't wrap them in single-use plastic. You become famous in the world.
Yeah, you're definitely right, and these are some challenges. Yeah, definitely, and like we discussed it yesterday with the philosophers. It's what the real leaders would do in such a. Yeah, but on the other hand, like I said, 97% of our customers would like such a product, and we are now in the position to persuade our customers to buy something where we are not earning enough or we are earning less because electrical cars demand less maintenance, we don't sell any oils and so on. But like I said, we really mean it this time, and we cannot afford to dodge these questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Slavko.
We are cleaning after the consumers.
You're cleaning, yes. You're cleaning.
Yes, and my concern is that unfortunately, still, if I talk about Slovenia, more than 75% is incinerated or landfilled, maybe also illegally. So, yeah.
That's also a pain.
Yeah.
So we are in the B2B, so we are enabling our customers, and that's why I said technology with purpose. It means what we do, we really do with the purpose to change something to the better. Yeah. So whatever you do, and we are also disrupting ourselves, and we are saying no, we don't do this project. We carve out energy, the whole part of the company, because we think this is not where we want to go. We want to be in some other area. But as a consumer, I feel really frustrated when I buy a perfume. You know, women, we like perfumes, but I'm frustrated more and more when I open this nice box and I throw it away. So we also have to take an active role as consumers and say, no, we are not buying it anymore. And this should be could be a kind of a movement. Yeah, let's just ban this and protest against. Yeah, but here also the government can do a lot. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a company here from the consumer industry. Yeah.
Will continue, Medeja. And your last
yeah, so for that question, I think it will have its development. So it will change with the demographic changes. The new generation uses something else than we were used to. So this will come, but most probably it will happen that it will not be quick enough. So maybe the topic of self-regulation, which we have internally, so we are doing some things more than needed, is a topic which needs to be addressed by the C-level companies. But with that what you mentioned with the Porsche, I think, I don't know how much you earn money in Slovenia, but not everybody can afford Porsche Taycan for 120,000 euros. So then, if there will not be transition, there will be this decision taken. I think at the end, all the employees of Porsche Slovenia will be fired, or 80%, because only the maintenance, the service will go on, because there will be no sales. And the others will come to the market and penetrate the market, maybe with the production outside of EU, with lower prices, with lower environmental standards and ESG things, and this will not help us at the end.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And your last replica, Darja?
Yeah, because we talk about fast-moving consumer goods and we don't have a representative. There was a recent research made on EU level which showed that 68, let's say the decision when persons included in the research say this in 68% that they decide where they go to purchase their goods depends of the sustainability policy of the retailer. So it's more and more important. But the problem is if the retailer, which are our clients, they cannot actually show in their reports, ECG reports, what happened with their waste. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Matej, for opening the questions we may not want to hear about, but there are many questions that we have to open, and thank you. Thank you, dear guests. Before we finish, we were speaking about the companies, about the government, but at the end, we are just humans. 30 people here, and it's our decision how we do it. And just how we do it. So my last question is also for you, Matej. What are your sustainability goals until the end of this year? What will you change? Tomaš.
I think we had a tough year with our company and with all the problems with COVID and semiconductor shortage. So our energy with respect to sustainability and CO2, except of reporting, is...
No. My question was personal. You Tomaš, not Heliot.
Maybe buying Porsche Taycan. But most probably the investors will not approve it.
We can help you with that.
No, but I think, I have my personal, so I have some land plots in Czech Republic. I want to plant some trees to let them grow, because for the future they can be used for additional plantations. So that's my personal goal, and that's something where I can clean my head.
Great goal. Medeja.
I will continue advocating for the sustainability in all the countries where I'm working, and it's not always easy to do it, and to talk to the governments and so on, and to say no from time to time also. We are not offering to a huge project, although it makes problems also to the governmental customer and so on, for sure. Privately, yeah, I'm currently really evaluating to buy a new car, and I have a little bit of challenge. Of course, I would go for at least hybrid, yeah, still thinking how to reach my personal goals to travel to Belgrade with an electric car, yeah, and not making my logistic too complicated, yeah. But it's the same currently with the flights, so probably it would be the same to use electric car or flying with Air Serbia.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also take my work personal. So let's say I live sustainable. I will avoid greenwashing, and I will continue encouraging people to really think what is good for the environment, what is good for people, what is good for their business model, or what is for them personally important.
Thank you, Darja. Slavko.
Well, I've been driving electric cars for some time. But that's pretty easy because I have access to business company car. I have also decided to add the other electric car. We in our family we are now completely gone electric, but that's also not. It was an obvious choice actually. But what I'm struggling with right now is the energy for this car. Right now I opted for the 100% green energy, but I'm not so sure that I'm doing anything good with it, because probably well, at least that's my suspicion, they are selling me electricity 100% renewable, and to somebody else who doesn't care 100% non-renewable. And that's why I would like to to secure for me a source of renewable energy where I can really be sure that I contributed to this. The obvious choice would be to install photovoltaic, but that's not possible in my in my case. But I would like to. That's why I would like to. Convince our mayor of Bled, Janez Pfeiffer. You probably met him yesterday, to start something on the level of municipality. And
yes,
maybe
system changes. System changes.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Matej, yours.
My challenge is both professional and personal. One of our challenges is actually to reconnect Ljubljana with Belgrade with the intercity train. Well, you know, it's so funny that there is an applause for something that existed for like about 70 years, but that's the reality that we live. With all the talk about sustainability in the region, in the Western Balkans, we have only one international train connection, and that goes between Bar and Belgrade. Everything else would stop. Everything which was possible for 70 years without even before talking about sustainability. So if it was possible before, it should definitely be possible now, and that I think would make our life definitely much better.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to conclude, also my goals, professional, is to onboard on Green Star as many of organizations and companies as possible. So you're all kindly welcome to go on board. And my personal is really measuring my CO2 footprint, but not only CO2, also water, when I shower, when I cook, when I buy. I'm really starting to taking care of everything, and I'm spreading this obviously to my family, because they're starting, oh, you use too much this, oh, the water is still running. And so we are under pressure of that, and yeah, this is the only way, and I love it. So thank you very much for being with us, and enjoy the day.